Hello, and welcome back to the Grunt Perspective. And I apologize for the long wait in between my last video and this video. As you can see, I'm in a new location. I've been moving, and on top of that, I've been working a lot. So I haven't really had a lot of time, but I've got a little bit of time right now. So I'm going to go through the updates I've made to my belt since you last saw a video on my belt. As you can tell, it's vastly different. It's still the same base belt, but I've changed quite a lot. So talking about it, and the reason why I made these changes is, I made the belt kit, and if you haven't seen my belt kit video, I've got a video on my belt kit, and I really liked it. I really liked the capability. I really liked everything that it gave me and allowed me to carry in the form of like my necessities and my survival equipment and things like that. But I also really liked my plate carrier setup, and like old habits die hard. Like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks is a saying, of course. But what I really wanted was some way to carry all that stuff, or at least the super important stuff, while I'm wearing my normal kit, like my body armor kit and my belt kit, or like this belt kit. The reason is, I'm looking at videos of Ukraine and things like that, and I'm trying to anticipate what the next war is going to be. And I can't really see any situation where the normal infantry isn't going to be wearing body armor. And so obviously I've got my body armor, which I'm going to do a separate video on, which I've also made some changes to. But I basically had to figure out a way to carry a lot of that stuff on my body armor and belt kit instead of all on my belt kit. Because while I do like the belt kit, it does have its drawbacks. It does have its limitations and things like that. So I needed something that is going to kind of do both and be functional in an armored setup, as well as be, smaller, lighter, things like that. So I don't really have to bear so much load of having that weight on the belt, on the belt kit, on the big belt kit. So this is 100% a two-piece type of system. This belt is paired with the plate carrier. Plate carrier is paired with the belt. It's very seldom that I wear one or the other. If I'm wearing my gear, almost all the time I'm wearing both the plate carrier and the belt and the helmet and things like that. So yeah, basically I had to figure out a way to carry what I needed to carry and still have a relatively low profile gear setup, so I can, move inside of buildings and it's not too heavy on the body and things like that. And this is by all means still in like the experiment and testing phase, so there may be things that change about this, but I wanted to get the video out there. So talking about it, I'm just going to go through the whole belt for anyone that hasn't seen my previous videos on my belt. But the base belt is a Faro Concepts Bison belt. It's a size medium. So that gives you an idea of how much gear you can fit on a medium Bison belt. Then I've got it just about maxed out. Attached to the belt, I have the ATS low profile suspenders. I had to add suspenders to the belt because basically I needed something to support the butt pack. So it's not super floppy. I've modified the suspenders a little bit, which I'll talk about, but these are like $15, and I've got them tuned up just right so they fit pretty comfortably. The way I have them attached is just through the MOLLE, just wrap around the belt and through the MOLLE on the front of each sides, and that makes the suspenders quite level, quite perfectly even when I'm wearing my belt. The inner belt that I run with it, I've talked about it before, but it's not the Faro belt or the Faro inner belt that they send. It's a not Safe Life gear inner belt, just a little bit more stiff. I like the stiff belt a little bit more, but you might not like it. So if you don't, I'm sure you could find a belt that you like more. So talking through it here, first thing that I've got attached are going to be my gloves. Obviously, always need to have gloves. These are the Mechanics Fast Fit gloves. Super cheap, super durable. All in all, a really good glove. They work well. They're kind of dexterous, but they're pretty durable. So obviously, like the pig gloves, like the Alpha model gloves, I think are the ones that are a little bit more durable. Those are really nice, but they're $45, and these are $12. So, you know, whatever you want to go with on that. But the Mechanics Fast Fit gloves are very nice, and I think it's important to have gloves with you all the time and wear gloves most of the time. Now coming over to my weak side, I've got 2 frag pouches. These are T3 Gear frag pouches. I find that these ones work a little bit better than the issued ones. They're a little bit larger, so the grenade's not so tight inside there. Obviously, got buckles on there to make sure that I don't lose them, and I can carry 2 frags on my belt, which is the standard loadout for like a combat patrol, things like that. Every infantryman has X amount of magazines and usually 2 frags. Obviously, it goes more from there, but either way. Now, here's where the differences start from the last time that you saw this belt. I had the Gista last time. I've done some things to the inside of it, and I've got a new insert for it. I'll talk about the inside here first. So I really like the Gista because, like, I want to have a magazine on my belt, but there's, you know, space on the belt is kind of at a premium, and so is space on the plate carrier. So having a Gista allows me to like maximize the space that I have by being able to put a speed reload magazine on my belt, as well as carry some extra stuff, which I use pretty frequently and that I want to have with me almost all the time. So the insert that I'm using is the Lunar Concepts, the 1R1 insert. It's made for a pistol and rifle mag, and it goes in either direction. I obviously have the rifle mag forward on this one, and then instead of carrying a pistol mag, which even if I did have a pistol on this setup, I wouldn't use this for a pistol mag. I just put my pistol mags right where that one frag pouch is. I have a Leatherman here. I had to tie a little lanyard on my Leatherman because this thing sits down in there really low, which is great. It means I'm never going to lose it, but it means it's kind of hard to take out. I previously had a S-Tac Kiwi, which I modified, and an elastic insert in there. And that elastic insert for the multi-tool was driving me fucking nuts because it was really difficult to get the tool in and out of that. So I definitely wanted a better magazine pouch, and I definitely needed a better multi-tool pouch. So on the little lanyard ring there, I just tied a piece of 550 cord with a couple knots in it, and I keep that oriented with the knots away from the magazine because I've ran into the problem, not a whole lot, but once, where I go to grab this magazine and I grab the lanyard too and pull both of them out at the same time. When I flip it around like that, I don't have that problem. So I keep a little lanyard on there, which is good. And the retention on these is both super solid. I know I'm never going to lose it. The insert is pretty new though, so I'm still kind of breaking it in. It is pretty tight, but I'm sure it's going to get a little bit looser over time. For the Gista, I think in the last video I had it mollied on instead of through the belt pass through. I switched to the belt pass because when it was mollied on, and I understand that that's not how you're supposed to use the pouch anyway, I just didn't want to take my shit off and slide it on there, but I see why it's necessary now, because when you try to pull a magazine out, if you don't have it through the belt pass through, the pouch is very loose and floppy, and it makes it difficult to get the magazine out. So now I have it on the belt pass through there, and I haven't had that problem since. Now, inside the pouch, I have one of the Axle Advanced Chemlite inserts made specifically for the Gista. So it says you can carry 6 Chemlites, and with an elastic insert, like in the magazine pouch, I'm sure you probably could. But because that the 1R1 is a hard, like plastic insert, it makes that first and 6th Chemlite very tight and very difficult to like put in and get out. So I just carry 4, and I mean, you can use Chemlites for any number of things. I got a couple of greens, a couple. I think that's an orange, and then I got a red one here, which I have marked with tape so that I know it could be used for a CCP or something like that. Just important to kind of mark these things and make it so you know what one you're going to pull out is what one, and I always run this one as the very last Chemlite just in case. Inside here, I keep a headlamp, and then I keep a little elastic loop insert made by EOG that I keep a lens pen in, and sometimes I keep a flashlight inside the other one as well. I'll take it out so you can see it. Kind of a bitch to get out, but I guess that's a good thing. Just that. I keep a lens pen tucked in there, and then sometimes I put a flashlight inside that pocket. But yeah, I keep that pretty much all the way forward in the pouch. Easy to get to and whatnot. Having a lens pen is nice. It's obviously good for optics. It's really good for glasses, for safety glasses, for eye protection, things like that. I've always found that I like them quite a bit. I use them often when I do carry them, and when I don't carry them, I'm always using one of those little like microfiber rags. So figured that I'll just carry the lens pen. It weighs nothing and it fits inside there really nicely. With the Chemlites inside the insert there, I can still carry 1 smoke grenade inside the Gista. However, I cannot carry 2. So the Gista is designed to fit 2 smoke grenades inside the flapped pouch. I can carry 1 in there now, how it is, but I can obviously carry more smokes on my plate carrier. Not that big of a deal. So now getting into the huge change here, I have a little small butt pack, again, made by Arctic Technical Gear. I fucking love this guy. I basically told him I want a butt pack that's going to fit on 5 rows of MOLLE, and I want it to have a little bit more volume than a saw pouch. When I was playing around with my belt kit, my other belt kit, one of the pouches that I was using for a butt pack initially was a saw pouch, and I could fit quite a bit of stuff in there, but not quite enough. So I just told him I want it to be a little bit bigger than a saw pouch, and I wanted to have a couple features. I wanted to have MOLLE on the sides, so thinking maybe in the future I could throw some Blue Force Gear 10 speeds on both sides of the butt pack, and I could carry 3 rifle magazines on the belt. I could put a smoke grenade pouch on there if I really needed to, or any other piece of equipment. Another feature that I wanted it to have cinch straps completely around the pouch, so I could carry other items. Some things that come to mind: military pop flares. They're real large and they're real kind of a bitch to carry, but I can put them on the bottom here. I can put them on the top and then tighten down the butt pack as needed so they don't fall out. And having those is going to be real important for signals and things like that. Now, I'm sure you guys are looking at this and thinking like, wow, that's a massive IFAC. Like you got a whole field hospital inside there. The only reason that marker is on there is because it's my IFAC is inside here, and then I've got other stuff inside here. So we'll go ahead and go through the butt pack now. 2 buckles and the flap. It has a snow collar, which I normally keep undone so I could get to the IFAC really easily, but I have a solve for that on my new kit. So one of the first things that's inside here is a weapons cleaning kit, a full weapons cleaning kit. Now this is the only weapons cleaning kit that I carry. As you can see, I've got rods, have a stuck casing or something like that. You can use the paint can method or you can use rods. I've got some Q-tips, 2 bottles of CLP. I've got a little protector for my chamber brush because sometimes those get real smashed up and then they kind of become useless. I've got 3 brushes, some rags, and then inside here I've got a bunch of attachments to go on my rods as well as a ruptured cartridge extractor. So speaking on the ruptured cartridge extractor, I think it's a very important thing to carry. Not a lot of people carry something like that. I really think you should. You can get them for $5. I got mine from Brownells. So definitely something that is going to be worth carrying. On the rifle cleaning kit, I might switch this to something else just because like I want this to be as light as possible. And if I just put all this stuff inside a Ziploc bag and don't carry the pouch, then it's going to be even lighter. So, you know, I'm still kind of playing with this. Like I was saying, I'm still kind of playing with this, trying to find ways to make it lighter and make it better and whatnot. So might be changing that in the future. Next thing that's in here is 4 AA's and 4 123 batteries. Always important to have extra batteries. These batteries are like the last batteries that I would use in the event that I get separated from my ruck or my other gear for longer than I was expecting. Then I always have some batteries on my person so I can continue to supply my optics and things like that with batteries. Again, same story as the rifle maintenance kit. If I were to just put these inside a Ziploc bag, be a little bit lighter. So I might be doing that in the future. Next thing I'll pull out is my IFAK insert. So talk about the IFAK here. I've got a little red pull tab here, which anyone can see as they come up to it, and they can pull it straight out, open it up, and then inside I've got quite the IFAK, which I really think a lot of people are making the wrong choice by carrying like those little small IFAKs and things like that. Like I get it, it's an individual first aid kit, but doesn't mean that you can't use your stuff for your buddies and whatnot as well. And you know, the kind of war that we're looking at in the future is not going to be one where a helicopter is just an hour away, 6 hours away or something like that. Like you might have to take care of someone for a while. So obviously this isn't like sustained medical care. Like there's no IV bags inside here. There's no, you know, I don't know. I'm not a corpsman, right? But it's not like sustained like field medicine. It's just I would hate to run out of shit and someone die because of it, or me die because of it, right? So I've got a pressure dressing, 2 packs of combat gauze, 1 pack of regular gauze, a cravat and an eye covering, 2 chest seals back here, NPA, needle D, Sharpie, duct tape, and gloves. And that's a pretty standard IFAK. That's even more than what is normally issued to Marines and soldiers. So I'm pretty comfortable with that, and I like it quite a bit. And the whole insert itself is just one of those blue Force Gear, the Trauma Kit Now inserts. I believe now they're called the Medium Trauma Kit Now inserts, but it's a good organizer. I don't really like the pouches. They kind of have the tendency to fall apart, but the organizer is quite nice in my opinion. Next thing I've got inside here is just some food, 2 of those meal replacement bars. You know, you never know when you might, just like I've been saying, be away from your gear for longer than you were expecting. So I've got a little bit of calories with me, and you know, not a whole lot to say about that. Now here, I've got a small survival kit, really just bare bones essential things. Lots of water purification tablets. I've got 2 1-liter water bags that I can store water and purify water in, some 550 cord, some tinder, a lighter, and I have a space blanket in there as well, or a casualty blanket in there, just to keep a casualty warm, or even just keep me warm on a night where it's a lot colder than I was expecting it to be. Next, I have a ultralight tarp. This is a tent footprint, actually, made by Big Agnes, and it's just about the size. I think it's about 8 feet long by about 4 feet wide. You can see it folds down real small, and it's real, light, kind of the ultralight thing here. I've coated it with a little bit of water repellency stuff just to make sure, and I put some Ranger bands on there to keep it nice and small. Dying of exposure is a real thing, and if I don't have my ruck with my large tarp, then it definitely could happen if things go from bad to worse. So something like that in there. You could debate the necessity of that depending on the temperature and the weather and the environment and whatnot, but for me, that's about all that I would ever really need. Last thing that's in here is a change of socks and a balaclava. So something to keep my head warm. If my feet are real fucked up, I got at least one change of socks with me, and definitely doesn't weigh that much, obviously waterproofed and whatnot, but I think it's a good thing to carry. Now, moving forward, over to my NVG pouch. This is also different since the last time that I had a belt video. Now I have a Spiritus small GP pouch for my NVGs. Not that my other pouch had anything wrong with it, but I just wanted to get one of these. I liked it quite a bit, and it works pretty well. It's a little bit bigger, so it has more room for 31s inside there. But I keep my Rhino and my J-arm inside there. I keep nothing inside the front, even though I've got, the space to put some small stuff in there. And then that's obviously paired up with an NVG insert and a dummy cord, of course. Make sure I never lose it. Let's pull all this stuff out here so we can get that super cool blown up gear picture that everyone loves. I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, like, man, that stuff looks like it's a lot of weight on your hips. And it can be. Like I said, I'm constantly trying to find ways to make it lighter and whatnot. But, sometimes you can't get around it, and it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, So I would rather just err on the side of caution and just be a little bit tougher, work out a little bit more. Next thing, I changed the knife out. I had a K-bar, and the K-bar is a great knife. Every Marine needs a K-bar, but I had a bayonet laying around, and I thought to myself, that'd be pretty fucking cool if I had a bayonet. So now I've got the OKC3 bayonet. Definitely something that, not a lot of infantrymen train with, because, when we get these, we usually poke each other with them, and then we get them taken away. So, but the problem happens is, like, guys have their gear all set up, and then the armory just hands them a bayonet, and then they kind of end up just strapping it to goofy places on their kit because their chain of command says they have to have it on them, and they should. But just be ready to carry something like this, because when you do go to war, like, you're gonna have it. So now I've just got it. The sheath on this, they're known to be kind of crummy. This one's brand new, so hopefully it lasts all right. It's got a sharpener on the back, or a honer on the back, but either way, we'll see how long the sheath lasts. Now coming back up to the front, I retain one tourniquet on the belt and a Sharpie right above it in a Soil Eater Gear tourniquet, belt-mounted tourniquet holder V3. Now, talk about the butt pack. What I've done is, instead of mounting the harness straight to the D-rings, I attach it with some shot cord here. And the reason is that if I mounted it straight to the D-rings, when I tried to bend all the way over, or the belt could come unvelcroed from the inner belt, or it had. So I decided that I'm going to attach this with some sort of stretch in the back here. And so far, it's been working out fine. Since I've done that, it hasn't disconnected from my inner belt yet. But if it does, then I might need to get a new harness or something like that. But so far, this $15 harness and a couple inches of shot cord with square knots with safeties is working out great. So that's the new belt setup. Shortly after I film this video and upload it, I'm going to be filming a video on my plate carrier as well, because I've changed quite a bit of stuff about that. But my closing remarks here, the infantry, like, we need to be ready and capable to sustain ourselves in a fight for longer than we were expecting to. That's how the military is. You know, everything always goes not according to plan, because that's just how it is. It's very difficult to plan when someone else has a plan of what they're going to do to you when you do to them. So if you're an infantryman and you're not carrying things like extra food, survival gear, medical on your gear, spare batteries, things like that, your weapons maintenance kit on your gear, you need to start doing that. You need to be ready to do things that you weren't expecting to do. That's just the best way that I can put it. And I think that a lot of infantrymen nowadays are not as prepared for that worst case scenario, contingency plan activities, things and whatnot that they should be. So if you want to use my video as a baseline, then, you know, you don't have to carry all this stuff. But all I'm saying is, like I said, it's better to need it and not have it than, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. In the future, we don't know what war is going to look like, so you might as well be ready for anything. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.